Okay, I should be live. So I said good morning, good evening, good whatever you fucking want. I I don't really care. Good something. So it's time for the Q&A and I should try to sit still because I have a very squeaky stool-like thing that I'm sitting on. So time for some questions and some answers if you have any questions. Otherwise, this is going to be very short. Meanwhile, I'm gonna let you know what I am doing and what I have planned. So the best and most exciting challenge that I ever run was my Master Your Cravings challenge, and I have revamped that a little bit, and I'm gonna run it again in 12 days, so that will be on the 24th. I haven't put any details out yet, but if you are interested in joining that and you want me to send you a message when I'm putting the registration page up, just send me a message, email me, pim@pimjohnson.com, or you can do it on Facebook if you're on Facebook. And if you're not, why are you not in the Facebook group? Because we're having a lot of fun in there. We had a Zoom hangout last weekend, and it was actually really good. I was a little bit nervous, like first time, haven't met people before, can be a little bit awkward, but it wasn't awkward as well at all. It was just nice, and that's what I wanted, just like a place to hang out and relax and do nothing. And we were talking about everything and nothing, and we had, I think we had one serious discussion, someone who needed a little bit of help trying to find out what's going on, and we were all just pitching in. So if you have like something that you want to discuss and this had to do with diet, just like join us, come and have a look, ask us. We might be able to together as a group find the solution. You never know. So now we're just waiting for the results, trying new things and see what happens. Right. Austrian Carnivore has a question. Thank you for the cue. You don't need it on my stream because there are not that many people here, but I really appreciate it because when the comments are starting to come in, and if especially if you have a lot of background discussions, it's easy for me to just jump straight to the questions. So I appreciate that. If sitting with a craving for a certain time and then giving in, does that reinforce bad behavior or does it still form useful pathways? It does both, but don't discount the effort of doing it. So with that, I want to say, like, if you are sitting with a craving and you're resisting the craving while you're sitting with it, then it doesn't really count because you're not doing it the way that you want to do it. If you just sit with it and you're feeling really uncomfortable and you're like, when is this going to go away? I've done this for 5 minutes now, or whatever. That is not sitting with a craving. So that only counts as resistance, trying to not give in. When you're sitting with a craving, so that you are actually doing it in a relaxed way, what you're doing, you're just feeling what that feels like in your body. And you're kind of detaching yourself from the craving emotionally. So you're just looking at it. If you imagine that you are a scientist, every time you have a look at yourself having a craving, you just like step out of your body almost, have a look at what's going on. Okay, my heart rate's going up, I'm salivating, there's tension in my body, and you're just like listing all the facts of what's going on rather than being caught up in the emotions that are there together with those physiological reactions that you're having. I hope that makes sense. And if you can do that, the craving might not go away, but usually it does. But even if it doesn't, that counts. So it's like you did it for a period of time, but you didn't do it for long enough for the craving to go away, and you don't always have to do that. And then you're like, oh, Jesus, I was so good, I'm going to have this. So it's like you're allowing the craving and then you give in. Two separate events, even though they're following each other. So they both count. Like you have still got one step closer to actually mastering just allowing the craving to be there without giving in. But you're still strengthening the old pathway by reinforcing it. And that's okay. It's not like that step is gonna counteract the other step. That's not how it works. Because if you have two equally strong pathways that you use every day, both of them, eventually you're gonna get to a place where you can choose which one you want to use. And why wouldn't you choose the one where you just allow the craving and then not have whatever it was that you were craving? In relation to that question, how did you discover the sitting with a craving approach? This was from my coach actually. So I had a coach for a different reason. I didn't hire her to help me with my cravings because I thought that I was a lost cause. Like I didn't think that there was a solution to my carb addiction. I just figured that I'm addicted to carbs and I'm always going to have to struggle with this. There is always going to be tension and I'm going to try to not eat them and then I'm going to start eating them again for whatever fucking reason and so on. So I didn't hire her for that reason and it didn't even cross my mind. Then I heard that she had been working previously when she started out as a coach. She was helping people who were overeating, like just food in general. And I was like, well, that's not the same thing. And then I read her book and I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting because I'm interested in those kind of things. But still, it wasn't really clicking. I was like, you know what? What's the deal here? Like, could this work for cravings? Nah, it's not the same thing. And then it was like it took me probably like 5, 6 months maybe to kind of get on board with it, like getting my brain on board with even trying it. Because, well, I mean, overeating is just eating against your will, and cravings, you have cravings for food in general. So there's no difference between those cravings and the sugar cravings that I had. But I wanted to protect myself from another failure, so my brain was just offering up that, it's not the same thing because you are specifically addicted to sugar, and that's very, very special. So I decided to just like take, I can't even remember, I think it was just 1 week off from work where I was going to take care of myself. I was going to try this out. That was going to be my number one priority. And I was going to do nothing else than just like pleasurable things, going for walks. This was late summer, going to the beach, not swimming because it was kind of getting cold, but just doing things that I enjoy doing and allow my cravings to be there and just eat meat. I this was one of the first times, maybe the second time, I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I may as well combine it with going carnivore. So that's how that happened, and then it was just like this shit works. I I couldn't believe how easy it was to do when I had decided that this was what I wanted to do and this was what I was going to focus on for a week. So when my focus was on that alone, it was like, why haven't I done this before? What's, you know, why is no one talking about this shit? Because when you have something that works, that is that efficient at helping you stop eating the things that you crave, why wouldn't you do it? Beats me, but it did take me a while to get to there. Right. Hi, Cecile. How are you doing? I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Um, if someone overcomes an addiction with another coping mechanism, how can someone tell if it actually is a healthy way of coping besides the obvious things like art, walking, friends, any signs? Is there a side effect to you doing it? Like something that you don't want in your life, then I would say is probably not a healthy way of doing it. Um, I'm not sure. I mean, friends are great, but sometimes we use things as a distraction, and the distraction is not going to help you accept the cravings or get rid of them like long term. So you will probably know if you keep falling off, then it's not working for you. the way I'm teaching it, the way I'm doing it, which is very, very similar to the way that my coach was suggesting you do it, it's just like it, it's almost perfect. I just tweaked it a little bit, like a very, very tiny bit. And for some clients, I need to tweak it a little bit more. But overall, it's just like it's very, very simple. So there are no side effects other than you might feel uncomfortable, but there's nothing else like appearing in your life that you don't want there. But if you always have to go walking, or you always have to call a friend, or you always have to, create things to keep your mind off of the carbs, then is that a way that you want to handle your life? Does that feel relaxed to you? If the answer is yes, go for it. But personally, I wouldn't have to phone my friends all the time or like, "Ugh, I have another craving, I better go out for a walk." Like, I just want to live my life the way that I want to live it. I don't want to feel forced to do something else so that I don't go and eat. And I don't anymore. I very rarely have cravings that suggest to me that I need to take some sort of action. It's on autopilot for me. So it's very, very easy. That's how I would look at it. If it's just another addiction, yeah, okay, there was, yeah, okay. So sure, you could be addicted to creating art or even looking at art, but it's not, the side effects from doing that are not as severe as a food addiction. But as I said, if it's something that you feel like you're stuck in it and you can't get out of it, then it's probably, a problem and most likely something that you don't want in your life. And I think that's the most important question is like, do you want this in your life or not? If not, then we'll find a solution and then do something about it. Ah, yes. Like Cecilia in Swedish, but with an E instead of an A. Cecilia. So where are you from? Denmark? Maybe? I'm just guessing, looking at your last name. Right. There you go. Oops. God. Lilith, dusters for you. Yep. 12 minutes of dusters. Or 13 even. Oh, actually, you were here earlier. 11. Let's do 11. We have to be precise. Okay, if someone gets off of carbs or other stuff in a healthy way, are there certain time points where you believe the physical and psychological addiction weans off, or is it a matter of coping? Yes, absolutely. I mean, the physical one, if you are, I mean, like most of you are, you're on a low carb diet of some sort, whether that be keto or carnivore or whatever. The physiological cravings, if we're talking about carbs, are going to be gone pretty soon. Then you have the issue of sometimes your gut bacteria gets very upset, and that might um, send signals to your body that, hey, we need some sugar here because we're about to freaking die, so you better eat some carbs, and that can create cravings. So that might go on for a little bit longer. But I think the worst of that is just, even if it's prolonged, it should be gone in like 3, 4 weeks, most likely. So when we have people who are following a carnivore or a keto diet or whatever for a prolonged period of time and then they fall off, that has nothing to do with the physiological cravings, unless they're cheating. But we're kind of presuming now that they actually been staying on this diet for a very long period of time, like several months at least. Is all up here. It's all about the emotional response. I mean, how many times have you not seen people like, oh, I've been eating this way for 3 months and it's so freaking boring. What should I do? I just want the carbs. That is your brain having a tantrum. It's like, it's time that we go back now. this is boring. Let's do something about it. So that's kind of all about managing your mind and manage those cravings. And if you don't know how to do it, it's very likely that you're going to fall off because it's like, maybe I have some deficiency in my body. Maybe I need to go and do that. Maybe this is dangerous because your brain is telling you that it's dangerous. We don't like this. You're like, this must be a sign that I should be eating some carbs. And then once you've done it, you're like, shit, why did I do that? Because in general, I felt really good. But somehow I thought that I had to listen to those cravings and they must be there for a reason. I mean, I always used to think that the cravings are there for a physiological reason. That's why I always try different things like adding minerals like chromium or whatever, amino acids to correct um, amino acid deficiencies that could occur in the brain and then not send the right signals and therefore cause cravings. Obviously, I tried the low carb diet in case it was like the insulin. And I mean, it does help a little bit for me, but it's by no means a solution for me. I still have a lot of cravings. And it's because it's not the diet that is the problem in terms of cravings. The diet has helped me solidify those cravings and make this a habit and just make everything worse by eating a lot of carbs. But that is not the main reason for why I want the carbs. Ah, shit, Norway. Okay, sorry. I should stop guessing. Okay. I have had thoughts of pizza lots of times during the first 2 months, then it stopped, and I never thought of, it's jumping. Sorry, I never thought of certain stuff anymore. Was very interesting as I never felt about pizza that way before. Yeah, that's probably, I would say that that is a combination probably between the gut microbiome and your your brain having a tantrum. It's like, okay, let's focus on this thing. And maybe there was something behind that. Like, I don't know if your problem is like savory stuff rather than, or was savory stuff rather than sweet stuff. But for me, if I had had pizza cravings, that would probably have been a combination of I crave something, but I don't want to go to sugar. So what else could I have that isn't on my diet? And I can justify it a little bit because there's cheese and meat on my pizza. So that's probably not so bad. And it would just kind of roll on from there. That's probably what would happen in my head if I had a pizza craving, which I can't even remember if I've ever had. I've told this before, but my mom, she was a single mom from when I was 7 or 8, maybe. Or maybe I was a bit old. Sorry, no, from I was 12. I think. I just make some shit up here. Um, so she was like always tired from working and didn't want to cook, and she would come home and she would just like give me some money and like go and buy pizza. And that probably happened, as I remember it, once a week. And everyone was so freaking jealous because they were like, "Oh, you always eat pizza," and I was like, "I hate pizza." So I was just had too many pizzas growing up, and I don't really like them. They don't feel like any type of luxury food. It's just like, "Ugh, do I have to eat pizza again?" Anyhow, I love amino acids: carnitine, unknown thyroid regulator, tyrosine, catecholamine stimulant. Yeah. Do you take them for that reason, even when you're eating like a very very high protein diet? I'm just curious because I think one of the reasons that carnivore works so well for cravings for many people, but not everyone, is has probably to do with this. Like you're getting so much more amino acids that you automatically kind of prevent or correct any sort of deficiencies that you may have had before you went carnivore. That's my theory anyway. I haven't heard anyone else talk about it. That's kind of where my brain went, and to find like an explanation for why a lot of people find that carnivore help with cravings a lot better than keto. And the only real difference, well, You're cutting out all the plant toxins, sure, but also the major difference I think is probably that you will eat more meat. But I don't know. Cravings are very occasional now and generally correspond to inflammation, low mood for me. Okay, so when you actually get inflamed, you get more cravings. That's kind of interesting. Oh, sorry for laughing. I'm gonna tell you what's been happening to me very recently. So, do you think that oxalate dumping can cause skin problems like abscess? Thanks. Yes, I do. And I've been talking about me having. So, I used to do the only carbs I used to do were sweet potatoes because they do have oxalates to kind of slow down the dumping. Now I haven't had a sweet potato in probably 3 weeks. So I have pretty much, apart from my very weak coffee, I haven't been consuming any oxalates whatsoever. I don't think there are many oxalates in 50 grams of blueberries, so maybe it's a very low amount in the last few days. So I have had lots of bumps all over my shoulders, my arms, even like my underarms. I used to have. It's funny because when I used to work as a personal trainer many years ago, I had a client and we became friends. And she was like, kind of one day, she was like, just like touching my arm. And she's like, your skin is like a baby bum. She was like fascinated. She was like, your star sign must be some, aquatic thing. And I was like, yeah, it's Aquarius. You're weird. Um, but now I have like bumps everywhere, and some of them are itching, but not all of them. And it's like, if they were red, it would look like I had rashes all over my arms, and I have it on my chest and my here, and I've started getting them in my face. And yesterday I just sat picking on it, and you can see it. This is just me having picked the skin apart. Like it's almost like I've been, when you were a kid and you kind of fell and like sliding on some concrete or something. That's what it feels like. And then I kind of caught myself. I was like, why am I doing that? It's just because I'm used to being like smooth everywhere, and I now have just bumps everywhere. So last night I just started putting citric acid in little gel capsules, and I'm gonna have to eat that because there's something going on here, and it's just getting worse and worse every day. So yes, I do think that that can absolutely be the problem. It's not necessarily the problem, but if you know that you have recently stopped eating any oxalates and that just came up, then I would say that is probably quite likely to be oxalates. So get some citrate in you. You can buy it in the food store, or I think you can probably buy it in the supermarket. Just citrate. Otherwise, you can go for like potassium citrate, calcium citrate, or magnesium citrate, for example. Just buy supplements and try and take some of those. I know that magnesium citrate, I can't really take it because I get the shits straight away. Calcium citrate I can take for like 3 days, but then I start getting stomach ache when I'm taking it. I haven't got any potassium citrate. Um, and I don't know how it's going to go with just eating pure citrate, if that's going to give me stomach problems as well. So I will let you know next week, maybe, if that is the case, because I will probably notice before then. And I noticed this when I first took calcium citrate, and I was just like doing it every day, and I started having this pain in my stomach. And I was like, what is going on? And I think I had it for over a week before I kind of made a connection that it was always like a little while after I had been taking the calcium citrate. So it's like I can do it for a few days and then it starts and it doesn't go away until I stop. Regarding certain minerals, could there be an unhealthy ratio that wouldn't show directly, but for example, make cravings stronger? That is a very good question. My guess, I'm completely guessing. I don't know. Like my first answer is I don't know. But my guess is that if you have like a massive imbalance and that feeds the wrong gut bacteria, they could probably make that happen. But I haven't heard about this being the case for anyone that I know, or I think most of the time we want it to be like a physical thing because then we can correct it and we don't have to put any effort in. We can just buy some supplements. But I think most of the time for most people, it's not just it's not a physical thing, it's actually in your brain. Like how you are thinking about food and what you're used to doing. Regarding sweet savory, I never was a fan of sweets per se. Yeah, just sugar drinks with savory meals. Yeah, good combination. To the pizza topic, I also wonder why I never could eat the same carb meal 2 times in a row, but now on adapted carnivore, I eat steak and eggs 1 to 3 times a day and love it every time. I don't have an answer for you. I don't know. I could not eat steak and eggs 3 times per day. Like even when I was priming, I had to have like I could do beef for breakfast, pork for lunch, and beef for dinner. But I couldn't have done like 3 times beef even, and that's probably the most um, neutral meat I could choose. But thinking back, if I had been eating it raw, I might have been able to do it. But fried beef 3 times per day, I couldn't do that. I'll be like, no, thank you. So I try to never mix two proteins because that makes me sick of them quicker. So I might have like an omelette for breakfast, beef for lunch, and pork for dinner or something if I can. If I have to eat 3 times per day, I normally just eat twice. If you count egg coffee as eating once, but otherwise I just eat once. So that's my way of eating. I just plop in 5 eggs. That's my breakfast. Yeah, probably body craving different deficiencies. Yeah. In isolation, they've been useful to some people looking for immediate benefit, but you will get the same effect from increasing protein via carnivore alone, a bit like taurine on my lower meat days. Yeah, cool. AC, AC, what am I missing? Mineral imbalances can alter your palate, so I suspect there could be an association. Yeah, okay, that's a good point, but I'm wondering, it would be interesting to know if that would cause specific cravings for specific foods, or if that would be more a general I want to eat craving. Like there's something that is not right in my body and I don't have everything that I need, so I just want to eat. I'm wondering if that could be the case when you have an imbalance of minerals, maybe. Or if it's one specific mineral that you're deficient in, you might be craving certain foods. That's I've heard of that. I haven't experienced it myself though. Question regarding your migraine. I guess you have, but did you do some allergy tests or checks for some underlying irregularity that could contribute to that, not related to diet? Scans, etc. No, I haven't done that. Um, I'm not even diagnosed with migraines, but I can tell the difference. I haven't had a migraine since March, like a real migraine. I've had a lot of headaches. And the allergy tests. I mean, I've tested for allergy stuff when I was younger. I know that I'm allergic to most furry animals, not my dogs though. They're both non-molting and I'm fine with them. And I'm allergic to a lot of pollen. So right now we have super high tree pollen, which I seem to be moderately allergic to, but the grass is nasty and that's going up. It's high right now, but we're not at the peak yet, so we'll see how I do. I've already started with this cortisol nose spray and all the things. I got my eye drops now. I didn't have that last year because I've been okay previous years, but now we live in the countryside and we're literally surrounded by grass everywhere. So not the best place for me to be, but hey, what do you do? I just try to be inside and not open all the windows when that is happening to avoid them coming in. To our landlord's joy, what do you say? Yeah, they were complaining once, like, oh, we because we had a tree that in our backyard that when it was really really stormy, it just like fell down and broke the fence and stuff. So he was here repairing it, and you know how we can get. I say you know how we can get like you can get condensations on the windows when you're sleeping. This is like new to me. When you live in Sweden with triple glazing, I've never seen that happen. We have a problem with like dry air, not the opposite. But here everything gets wet. And we have a dehumidifier, but there's no way that's going to be on at night. So he was like, he's a little bit controlling. He wants us to do things the way that he would have done it. But anyhow, he was like, yeah, you need to open the windows every day and blah, blah, blah. So he's not going to like that, but he can fuck off. Uh, We'll just have to complain again and I'll tell him. Can't do that. We have a dehumidifier. Calm the fuck down. He's a good guy. I'm not religious, just spiritual, but I'll say a prayer tonight in defense of Pim's migraines. Well, thank you. They, I mean, I was talking about this like 3 weeks ago or whatever. Like, my blood sugar was extremely low, and that seems to coincide with my headaches. And every time my blood sugar drops even lower, the headaches get more intense. But I'm not sure that the blood sugar is the thing that is causing it. I think it's hormonal because my blood sugar, my baseline of blood sugar seems to be following my cycle very, very carefully, which means that a couple of days after my period starts, my blood sugar drops until I'm ovulating, and then it goes up to a pretty normal level. I've I started measuring on the exact day that my period started last month, and I had 2 days of unusually high blood sugar. It is my second day now, but I'm on a slightly elevated level of blood sugar, but not as high as it was last month. But then I've been eating some carbs for the last week, whereas last month I had been zero carb for several weeks. So it might be something to do with like the balance of hormones and the cortisol, etc. That is just like making it worse when I'm zero carb. So I have to keep monitoring, but I've actually had pretty good blood sugar for the last 2 weeks, and I've been like, yeah, this is nice. I like this. And like a slight headache here and there, but nothing like out of this world. And it feels like it's something that is following the bad headache because when I'm getting back to normal, feels like it's very sensitive and I really easily slip into another headache. That's why I've been doing carbs, a little bit of carbs every day now for probably 5 days and no headaches. So fingers crossed that it's not going to drop too badly and trigger another headache, but I'm monitoring now. So if that happens, I'm going to try to up my carbs even more and see if I can prevent that shift from happening because it started right when my blood sugar dropped. It dropped in the evening and then I woke up with a headache in the morning. So I'm gonna, if that is happening again and I see it just dropping, then I'm gonna have to try to intervene and see if I can do something about it. Couldn't do beef either. Lamb is my go-to ruminant current. Oh, I really could not do too much lamb. For me, lamb is like once a week, maybe. I get sick of it. It's too lamby. And I hate lamb fat. It's not nice at all. I supplement with beef fat with everything. Pork fat is quite nice as well, but I hate lamb fat. It just doesn't taste good. Hi, Bev. Good to see you. I'm shouting. Hi, Bev. Right. Maybe if you miss sodium, you crave savory stuff. Don't know. If I feel not at 100%, I drop some keto cho drops into water and I'm good. Okay. Well, if that works, like, then go for it. I don't have any, but I'm not sure that that is my problem, to be fair. Do I do dairy? Avoiding dairy in hay fever season can make a huge difference to some. Um, yes, I do. I haven't, when I was trying to do zero carb, I didn't do much dairy at all. Um, Now I'm having Greek yogurt with the berries that I'm having. So I'm having a little bit of dairy. Might have to try that. Um, Iron craving usually is the mind looking for sweet foods to replicate blood. Iron craving. Who craves iron? And what do you do? What is it that you crave when you crave iron? Like you're not gonna lick an iron bar, are you? I'm just curious what that would look like. Is it when you talking about like when you're craving meat, etc.? But why go to sweet? Jonathan, let me know because I'm like this doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Heme iron craving, pasta meat. Yeah. I don't think I have ever had cravings for anything like weird. I've only had cravings for things that I don't expect having cravings for, like chips. Sometimes can't even remember when, but I know I have them. Um, I can't even remember. My brain is just like la la la. We can't remember cravings. Um, I know that I've had some strange cravings coming up. Like all of a sudden, I have smelled like out of nowhere like gingerbread, and there's no reason for why I would smell gingerbread. There's no one baking gingerbread in this house. There is no like, I mean, I have cinnamon in the house, but cinnamon alone doesn't smell like gingerbread. And then my brain starts fixating on gingerbread and wants me to bake it and eat it. Like, I have had gingerbread cravings for like 3 days after randomly smelling gingerbread when there is probably no such smell. Something just gone wrong there. Bev, so this is off subject. How do you fix a very broken heart? I had to put my sweet doggy down yesterday and I'm so lost. Oh, God. Bev, I'm so sorry. You don't fix it. Like, this is like with everything else, like all emotions. I always say, like, some emotions are completely unnecessary because they are only caused by your thinking, the way that you're thinking about things. And if that is the case, you can change it by changing your thinking. But like, when you lose someone you love, whether that's being a pet or a human, why wouldn't you want to feel that? It's not like you want to stop thinking good thoughts about your dog and how much you miss your little pooch. That's not what you want to do. So you just want to process this emotion. So, like, just as with the cravings, like, feel what it feels like in your body and then just like let that be there. So the best way of going through this is literally to go through it and not try to resist it or get away from it. It's just like let yourself actually feel what you're feeling. And this might take a while. I'm like scared to death that my puppies are gonna, leave me. And then I have no idea how long that's gonna take. Um, so I would just like take some fucking time out and just allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you're feeling. And it's not gonna feel nice, but once you're done feeling for now, it's like your body's gonna be able to get rid of that tension and just start to relax, and it's gonna feel a little bit better. But this is gonna come back in waves. It's not like it's gonna go away, but you're not gonna feel it constantly. Sweet. It's because we desire vitamin C contained in animal blood. To us, blood is sweet, so we might crave other sweet foods. Hence, chocolate, strawberries, lols. Okay, fair enough. So all the plants as well. Well, we associate it with chocolate, of course, but there is not much vitamin C in chocolate, shall we say. Okay, so I sometimes have the most weird thoughts of food, like I drink water and the thought of garlic bread pops in my head, or I eat eggs and the image of chocolate pops in my head. Maybe neurons tangle. Um, maybe. But I find that the act of, eating or like putting anything in your mouth can help trigger random cravings, like because you're eating. So just the act of eating or drinking is going to make you think about other things that you can eat or drink. So unless it's like you always had eggs and then chocolate after, or or then like when I drink water, I always have garlic bread with it, which isn't very likely. So I think it's just like your brain is like, okay, so we're eating something. What is it that we really want? What is it that we miss? What do we think that we need? What's the best thing? Yeah, well, let's go for garlic bread today. Like it's just another way for your lower part of the brain to try and get you back on all of those comfort foods. Oh, Bev, it's heartbreaking. I had to do that too this summer. It's freaking awful. You're welcome. I wish I could give you a hug, but I can't. Like a virtual one. Here you go. My condolences, Bev. Still remember when our childhood dog met his end. Time is a good healer. Yeah. Yep. Vitamin C, a cofactor of iron, synergy effect. Yeah. It's that we crave sweet and like. Now you're saying AC again. I still don't know what it is. Can someone tell me what AC is? It's like it's probably going to be super obvious, and I can't figure it out. Okay. It's that we crave sweet, and like AC, our tastes get entangled. So having a feeling for blood or rare meat gets mixed up with choco. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so it's Austrian carnivore. I see. So he's just talking to you. Shall I not read it then? Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks. Now I know. So everyone here figured it out except for me. Good. Or maybe my brain needs an upgrade. The best cure for chocolate addiction is to eat some when you have temporarily lost your sense of taste. The texture is vile without flavor. Yeah. You know what else is vile? Like 70, well, it's not 70, 70 is fine. Like 90% chocolate, like dark chocolate, is horrible in my opinion. And I couldn't do 90, but I used to buy like 80% because there's some sweetness in it and it's not a lot, but it's like, oh, it's there, so I can taste it and we'll just like eat the square every day. And I didn't like it, but at the same time, my brain was like, this is nice because there is a little, hint of sweetness in there. It was insane. I don't know why I did that. I just bought it because I thought that this is going to kind of curb those cravings at the same time as I'm actually eating something that I should not be eating, and that would just make me feel better somehow. And it was just horrible. And I just kept doing it for the sake of it. It didn't serve a purpose at all. Okay, no comment. Have a lovely evening. We're going to bed and my head hurts too. Ignore my night. Okay, sleep well, Jonathan. Thanks for being here. I know it's late. Well, it's not that late. You're just an early going to bedder like me. I trained myself to do that shit. About 2 years ago, maybe a little bit more now, I decided that I'm gonna go up at 6 every morning and I'm gonna go to bed at 10. So it took me probably like at least 4 months before I could fall asleep before midnight. That's how long it took. And I was up at 6 every morning because if I'm sleep deprived, it's more likely that I'm gonna be able to fall asleep earlier. So I was kind of suffering for months, but I have managed to change it. And sometimes I don't fall asleep very early, and that's okay, but my alarm still goes off at 6. And the danger is when I start actually pushing it. So I'm not going to bed until 11, and then um, it always takes me a while. I might want to listen to an audiobook or something, and then all of a sudden it's midnight. I'm like, shit, okay, this is not good. And then just have to go back to what I was doing before. but I'm still doing it, and it's really nice to be up early because it's like nice and quiet. I can do whatever I want. I can, you know, sit down, sort through my thoughts, prepare for the day, just do some Wim Hof breathing or whatever. Like it's like my time, and it's quite nice. It's definitely worth it. COVID vamped carb withdrawal. Yeah, I wonder how many people got addicted to something during the first or second lockdown. Excuse me, I feel like I need to sneeze. Oh, God, those are the pollen. I had like a sneeze fest yesterday. I think I sneezed like almost 10 times in a row. It was crazy. Anyhow, I gave my mom, who is pre-diabetic, 99% chocolate for her birthday. Show her, oh, I like chocolate so much. What chocolate actually tastes like, and that it's literally just the sugar she likes. Okay, I want to know, did she eat it, and what did she think about it? I um I didn't even know this. So I was quite youngish. I was probably just around maybe 25 or something. And I visited a friend in the UK, and I stayed with him and his girlfriend. And she was massive and he was like that skinny. But they had, this is such a strange phenomenon. Like they had a whole drawer full with different chocolates, like small chocolates. And I was like, oh, if you want anything, you can just take it. I'm like, I'll pass because my addictive brain was just like, if I stop, there's no way I'm gonna, or if I start, there's no way I'm gonna stop. And the first morning I woke up, it was like, yeah, here's breakfast, like cereal and Danish pastries. And I was like, what? Even like at my worst, I would never eat that stuff for breakfast. Never eaten that shit. Um, and it was just so strange to me. And when I was going home again, he was just like, "Oh, but take some of these so you can have it on the flight and whatever." So I took a few chocolates, and I was like, he's like, "Oh, this is like my chocolate." It was 99% chocolate, and he said, "You're probably not gonna like that." I was like, "Well, I'll take one," because they were like tiny like that. I was like, "I'll take one. I want to try it." Oh Jesus! I wish. Well, I mean, it was an experience, but it was so horrible. I just like put it in my mouth. I was chewing, and I felt like, who on earth can eat this shit? It's just bitter, like massively bitter, and I hate bitter stuff. That's why I never drank coffee before I discovered that you can make egg coffee with sweetener in. But I couldn't even drink egg coffee without the sweetener. Like that's not gonna happen. I have to choose either egg coffee or um if I don't want to do any sweeteners, I have to stop drinking egg coffee as well. That's the trade-off. But anyhow, that was the most awful thing that I ever tasted, thinking that it was going to be something that was satisfying a craving. It really was not. Normally slept midnight till 8. Now it's 2 till 8. Wow. Since my body doesn't have to filter so much waste during the nighttime. That's interesting. Do you have a way of tracking your sleep? Because it seems like, I mean, it doesn't just seem like, there's lots of research on it as well, that you get most of your deep sleep early in the night. And you probably heard that every hour before midnight counts as 2 hours after midnight, just for that reason, I think. So 2 till 8 is like, I mean, it's 6 hours. That's usually what I get. But I'm wondering about the quality of the sleep. If you slept from like 10 till 4 rather than 2 till 8, would that change? Just curious. I mean, you might not want to do it, but I'm curious anyway. I love waking early, but 3 a.m. is a bit on the too soon. Yeah, I agree. That's probably not my favorite time to get up. But sometimes I wake at 5. And I'm like, "Ugh," but not on zero carb because it fucking knocks me out. And then I just want to sleep and I want to hit the snooze button. And then I'm always a little bit, now I don't want to sleep in the evening because I'm finally starting to wake up. I haven't asked her specifically about it, but she said she would eat one piece on occasion. Maybe I should follow up on that topic this weekend. Please do and report back next Wednesday or Tuesday for you. How do people keep cupboards of chocolate? Could never preserve a chocolate stash. Had to eat it till it was gone. Yeah, that's what amazed me. And I was thinking, like, this woman here, she's massive. How much chocolate must she consume, and how much do they need to buy to keep this stash in the drawer? Like, how much do you need to replenish it? I would just eat until I was almost puking if I had that drawer in my house because I would, oh, just one more piece. I feel for something sweet. I could never do that. I don't know if she was using willpower to just stay away from it. Well, I don't know. It was crazy. And I had never seen anyone have that. And then when was that? Like 2 years ago or whatever. Someone sent me this link to this documentary about this woman. She was addicted to, was it like jelly worms or something like that? And she just had this chest in her house full of packets of those, and it's just like one thing, jelly worms or snakes or whatever. I can't remember, or maybe it was gel rats. I don't fucking know what they are. And she had so many of them, and she was literally filling her trolley at the supermarket with it to make sure that her chest was full at all times. I'm like, really? Like, imagine how much money that is in that chest. And yeah, it's crazy to me. I could never do that, but she was replenishing like mad to maintain it. A dick, nice to see you again. We almost finished, but you here, so all good. I have a pulse tracking watch like your Aura ring. I have deep sleep in first third, usually 6 hours sleep and 1 hour deep sleep. Okay, well, an hour is not bad. I usually have more. How do you feel on 6 hours? Because obviously my body wants me to stop sleeping around that time. And I know that if I was like being naughty and continued to sleep, even though I didn't need it would just make it really hard for me to fall asleep in the evening. And then I usually actually get less deep sleep doing that. I saw a study that suggested 5 to 6.5 hours are optimal for humans from a talk from Dr. Sarah Saldivar recently. Nice. So I'm not that bad then. It's like when I was in my early 20s and younger as well, but I remember this specifically because um, that's when I was studying nutrition. I would need like 9 hours, and I know before that I'll probably go up towards 10, but I would need 9 hours to just feel functional. And yes, I was doing a lot of exercise and like it wouldn't account for like the that need to be that high, I don't think. But like for every year that I age, it kind of goes down. It has stopped around 620, something like that now, I guess. But it's good to know that it's actually not that bad to go down towards 5. I don't function on 5, but literally, I couldn't, if I didn't get my 9 hours, 8 was kind of like a cutoff. If I got less than 8 hours, I would literally just like walk around like a zombie. I would have no energy whatsoever. I would be so sleep deprived. And now there's no way I could sleep that long. Da-da. Besides the fact that I had 140 heart rate for an hour during the talk. Yes, it was awesome. Okay, that was the chat with Bart. Why? Why is it so scary to be? Is it Bart that is scary, or is it scary to be on camera? Let me know. Yes, I got that. You said that before, so I suspected that that was the case like every week. I stand up 80%, go take a wee drink, a sip of water, and I'm 100%. Okay, good. I never feel that energetic in the mornings anymore. Like, never. When I watched the live, I found it interesting that my body wasn't shaking the entire time. I felt really tense besides the lingering anxiety, the live and the translation issue for me. I have to watch that one, I still haven't. It's like I don't watch any of his stuff. And this morning, Jonathan was premiering his interview with Bart on his channel. So you can go and subscribe to that as well. That's Composition Consultant. Um, and he sent me the link, so I was hopping in. I was like, it's it's 7 in the morning. Bart is asleep. It's finally quiet in the house, and here he is talking anyway. That's my luck. This is like my time when it's actually quiet and I don't have to hear him singing or talking or whatever. He's always making noise. And as you know, my brain is like hypersensitive. That's probably why I have migraines or the other way around. But it just enjoys silence so much. Like I could probably live in a cabin on my own on a mountain, far away from all people, and just enjoy it being silent. And I thought this was a result before because I was working at the gym and it was always fucking music, and I was having classes and I had to play music. And people were always complaining, like, can you make it louder? I'm like, no, hurts my ears, and I don't want to blow out my eardrums. So, like, noise and like loudness and like audio stimulants have always been like something that I want to avoid. I just enjoy quietness. Uh, it is just that I never had direct human talks like that within the last 10 years, just missing social interaction. Okay, fair enough. I'm sure you were doing fine. He said you were doing fine anyway, so I'll believe him. For me, the camera, it used to Bart's brain. It used to be Bart's brain. Bart's brain. Yeah, I want to shout it like, shut up. And not just for me, shut up for him because it's always like running at 300%. And I can sit and I can be like my brain is just like not thinking. It's just like quiet. It's nothing there. It almost feels strange. And he's like, oh, I have all these things. And he's super stressed. And it's just like thoughts going round and round and round. And I'm like, you want me to take them for a while? Like, there's nothing in here. It's just like, poof, empty. So we're very different. Pim is great, easygoing. Bart scares me. He is, I mean, I wouldn't say he's ever scared me, but he has shocked me with how he reacts to things, like even in real life, not just when he's pretending to do stuff on YouTube, because that's him like exaggerating himself. Like it's a caricature of himself almost. But when he gets upset, it's usually with like customer services or something when they're being completely useless. And he can literally sit and shout at them. And I'm like, are you really going to get anywhere doing that? But the funny thing is that sometimes he does. So it's kind of working for him. Maybe they get scared of him as well. But sometimes they just hang up on him because they don't like being treated that way. And that's why I shouldn't be working in that profession because I would be like, I don't think so. Bye. Click. And that fucks him off even more. So I can laugh at it now, but it's not so much fun when it's actually happening. Apparently, none of you watched each other's stuff. Last week, you both had your streams up. It was hard to micromanage both of your streams on two monitors regarding sound settings. Yes, okay. So he needs to get slapped for that because he knows that I'm. That must have been. But he shouldn't have been up at that time because he should be starting a premiere in 1 minute on this day. That's why I'm trying to keep this to an hour because otherwise we're going at the same time. I said you're allowed to do it at 9, but don't stop before that. So that shouldn't be happening. I'll join you in the mountains, Pim. Oh wait, no. Well, you can join me as long as you're quiet. All my dogs will bark at you, and I'll be like, "Shut up!" At least Snoopy. Okay, that was you during your talk with composition consultant. 30 minutes in his stream started with Milton Mills. Okay, yeah, that was like a bonus episode. I don't usually do interviews anymore, so I just put it up at the time that worked for him. So yes, that was my fault. I'll take blame for that one. It's not Bart's fault. Right, so this is perfect. This was the last comment anyway. So we are then at an hour. I can't hear him, so he's probably not up and there's probably not a premiere, but we'll finish here anyway. Hello and good evening. Greetings from Germany. Hello, Paprika. Sorry that you are late. You're gonna get dusted. You have to watch this from the beginning. But come back next week, 1 hour earlier. If you have questions, I will be more than happy to answer them. So what I was saying when we started was that if you are someone who is trying to be low carb and you just keep falling off and you can't do anything about it, I'm going to run another challenge in 10 days, 12 days time called Master Your Carb Cravings. So that's just a revamp of my Master Your Cravings challenge that I ran before. So I've tried to make it even better. If you want to take part in that, you can wait. I'm going to announce the details very, very soon on here, on Facebook, everywhere that I can. And if you want to kind of sign up early, send me an email at pim@pimjohnson.com. Wonder if I have the email, I can put it up like that. You can send an email today and I'll send you the details when I have them, which will just be a few days. So that's what I can offer you, and it will be great. I will be in there a lot, and I will make sure that you get all the help that you can get or you need. Sorry, we'll rewatch and try to check in earlier next week. No worries. Have to set the reminder for 99% chocolate question. Yes, do that. Okay, thank you so much. And you have a really good day. And I will see you again next Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day it is for you right now. So, love you all. You are awesome. Keep doing what you're doing and just get better at what you're doing. Bye, Dick. And bye, everyone else as well, even though I didn't give you a chance to say bye. Bye.